Alrighty, for this one I want to go over how this particular lab works for 7A utilizing while loops. And when you run the code, this is how the output should look like. I already created the header portion of your code, and basically what that looks like is something like this. So we have a top row and bottom row, and then our header information in here. We also have basically printing hello 10 times here. You'll notice that everything is aligned, and I also have things prefixed for the single value digits here, and then everything is aligned here as well. Now let's look at the instructions. So clearly the objectives are utilizing a while true. Requirements, clearly utilizing a while loop. We're going to utilize a break statement here. We're going to utilize F strings, and then we also want to make sure that the output is correct. And what we're going to do then is this, just to show you how easy these things are. We're going to have a flow chart to help us with the logic, and then while the statement, it's true, so we're going to create a while true. Then we're going to utilize an if statement for testing, and then we're going to use the keyword break to break out of the loop when the condition is met. And once again, we're going to print out hello 10 times, and each is numbered, and we want to make sure that it is a leading 0 to it. Looking at the code or the flowchart to it, so we have a while condition. So we're going to start out with a value of n is equal to 0, because that's going to be our counter. While true, we're going to increment n, and here's the easier way to increment the values here, n plus equals 1, so that'll be always incrementing, and then print hello. Clearly this is not the actual print statement, because the print statement needs to be created utilizing an F string that basically is going to print something along the lines like this. Then we have our test condition. If n is equal to 10, then we're going to break out of it. If not, we're going to basically loop around and continue it until it's basically done to 10. Now when we look at the code, the template that I have things structured here, I added a couple more things to it, and again, I'm not sure why some of you insist on changing the stuff that I have blocked out. The reason I have things blocked out is to prevent you from changing the template. There's nothing wrong with the template, there's something wrong with your code. So again, we're going to be working with functions, and in a couple more weeks we'll be learning a little bit more detailed on the functions here. So when the system starts up, it's going to look at the main function. It's going to run basically a header function and a message function. So then if we basically scroll up to the header function, I already have all this stuff done for you here. And you notice that I have a couple things in color here in terms of the line segmentations there. And then I'm also utilizing obviously F strings. And with these F strings here, I am also looking at utilizing a variable here to center based on 50 character spaces. That means that when you look at the output, we have our green configuration there, and basically these three lines are centered off of 50 spaces, and that's how this code is basically working. So going back and taking a look at the guide here, so we're going to have a variable section that you are going to create a initial variable of n. The main program then, now clearly this is going in a specific location. In the main program, I have everything pretty much spelled out for you guys. So while the condition is true, this is the start of the loop. We're going to increment the value by 1. Right, that's also inside the loop. And then here is our fancy print statement. And this portion right here is what is going to prefix it with a leading 0. And then we have the period over there, and then the word hello. And then we have a test condition that if n is equal to 10. Now if we basically look at the flow chart, you notice that the flow chart doesn't quite have the correct print statement here. It doesn't have the correct syntax, but again, it gets you the idea in terms of how the code needs to be written. So if n is equal to 10, and this is not a typo because that's what we need to do, we're going to basically break out of the system. So basically we have a couple lines of code. Once you get it created, everything is indented correctly, it should all work. So complete that and submit your project there.